The scanner read 847 newtons for the fourth time. Dr. Salith recalibrated the array, loss-corrected the sensor drift, reset the baseline tolerance, ran the cycle again. Same number. On the arena floor below, the 340-kilogram assessment barrier lay upside down in a crater of displaced sand. And the woman who had thrown it stood at the crater's edge, breathing hard, hands shaking, dirt packed beneath her fingernails. Behind her, the child sat on the sand, unhurt, clutching a small plastic wrench. Salith looked at the scanner, looked at the woman. 68 kilograms. If you've ever heard a number that made you hold your breath, you know why this story is worth hearing to the end. Subscribe to the channel and let me tell you how a greenhouse worker broke every scanner in the arena. Standard species capability trial, low priority assessment, human female greenhouse division, expected result, baseline. That had been the briefing file. 8 hours earlier, and Salith had packed light. 1 portable scanner, 1 calibration stylus, her standard medical kit, Marin Goss. Greenhouse Division, Station Sector 7, selected for a routine species capability trial, the same cross-species baseline study every station worker underwent sooner or later. Her file was thin. Age 36, single parent, 1 dependent minor, no combat training, no athletic citations, 1 scar on her chin from a childhood fall. Salith had skimmed the file in 40 seconds and moved on to calibrating the arena's overhead arrays. The woman had arrived with the boy, Eli, 9 years old, small for his age, quiet in the way Salith had observed some human young go quiet, not from fear but from careful watching. He carried a toy wrench, plastic, weightless, gripped in one hand like a talisman. Volok had waved them through without looking up from his datapad. The child can watch from the gallery. The trial is not dangerous. Eli had climbed to the viewing platform, legs swinging over the edge of the bench, toy wrench resting on his knee. Marin had stepped onto the arena floor. Sand, white light, scanner arrays humming overhead, and rolled her shoulders once the way Salith had seen laborers do before a shift. Volok's voice over the speaker, flat and procedural. Standard trial. Lifting assessment first. Please approach the barrier plate. The plate sat at center arena. A 340 kilograms of reinforced composite, standard issue for measuring maximum species exertion. Salith had watched a Thesari heavy combat officer shift it half a meter last cycle. Marin gripped the edge with both hands, pulled. The plate moved 4 centimeters. Salith logged the result without interest. Human female, lifting baseline, approximately 40% of body weight under standard exertion, consistent with species data. The trial moved to reflex testing. The arena proximity sensors activated. Harmless light targets tracking reaction speed. Marin tagged them competently. Nothing remarkable. Salith logged numbers that confirmed numbers she already had. Volok was cycling through the next subject's file before the round finished. If those numbers had been the whole story, you wouldn't be listening right now. Subscribe, because what Salith's scanners recorded next has never been explained by any species database in the station's archive. Then the gallery barrier retracted. A system error, automated cleaning cycle triggered 40 minutes ahead of schedule. The safety rail on the viewing platform pulled back, and Eli slipped 4 meters to the arena floor. He landed hard on the sand and did not move. The toy wrench tumbled from his hand and rolled to a stop 2 meters away. Marin turned. Salith was already reaching for the medical alert when she saw the woman's face change. Not gradually, not in stages. A 1-frame Marin Goss was a greenhouse worker finishing a routine assessment. The next frame she was something Salith did not have a category for. The scanners caught it in real time. Heart rate 71 beats per minute, normal. Then Marin's eyes found Eli on the sand, and the number became 168 in 1 second. Cortisol output tripled. Adrenaline surged to 4.7 times baseline. Pupil dilation hit maximum. Every scanner in the overhead array triggered a secondary alert, not because something had malfunctioned, but because the human's biology had activated a response the system was not calibrated to measure. Salith's stylus stopped moving. She watched 7 scanner feeds simultaneously, and on every single one, the numbers were climbing past the edge of the display. The 340-kilogram barrier plate sat between Marin and her son. 8 meters of sand between her and the plate. Marin covered that distance in 2.1 seconds, and then she reached the plate. Salith had seen Thesari combat officers approach that barrier with bracing stances, leveraged grips, controlled breathing. Marin Goss did none of those things. She grabbed the plate's edge with both hands, the same hands that had shifted it 4 centimeters 20 minutes ago. And she lifted it, not pushed, not dragged. Lifted. 340 kilograms of reinforced composite rose off the sand in the grip of a woman who weighed 68. Salith's scanners captured the grip force at peak exertion, 847 newtons. She blinked. Both sets of lids, horizontal, involuntary. Kathrani maximum recorded grip force across all medical literature was 312 newtons. This human was exerting 2.7 times that, with bare hands, with dirt under her fingernails. The plate stayed in the air for 4 seconds. Then Marin didn't set it down. She threw it sideways, far enough to clear the path between herself and the boy. It landed face down and cratered the sand, and the sound it made rang through the observation tiers like a detonation. Salith understood in the clinical part of her mind what had happened. She had read about it in human xenobiology files, a phenomenon called hysterical strength. Under extreme emotional threat, human neurochemistry could trigger a cascade of adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine that temporarily bypassed the brain's built-in limiters on muscle output. Humans normally operated at roughly 60% of their available muscle fiber. The override pushed that ceiling toward 90, sometimes 100. The brain's own safety system, designed to prevent the body from tearing itself apart, simply switched off. No cool-down period, no rational decision. The body moved, and the thinking came after, if it came at all. Salith had read about it, reading about it and watching it happen on 7 scanner feeds, while a 68-kilogram woman through a barrier rated for heavy combat species were 2 different things entirely. And now, the same arena floor, the same white lights, the same impossible number still cycling on the overhead display. Marin was on the sand with Eli. The boy was conscious. Salith's remote scanner confirmed a bruised shin, no fracture. Marin held him against her chest with both arms. And her hands had not stopped shaking. Volok approached, datapad in hand. His stride was measured, his voice the same flat tone he used for every post-trial debrief. Ms. Goss, you just exceeded our maximum species lifting record by 340%. Can you explain the mechanism? Marin did not look up. Her chin, the scar on it, rested against the top of the boy's head. He fell, she said. I moved the thing. Salith's stylus hovered over her datapad for a long time after that. She wrote the report in the medical bay, alone after the arena had been cleared and the lights had been dimmed to standby. She filed it under priority alert. Subject, Marin Goss. Species, human, lifting baseline under standard conditions, 40% of body weight, post-adrenal event, 500%, duration of override, 4 seconds, trigger, offspring endangered. At the bottom, beneath the neurochemical data, Beneath the heart rate spike and the cortisol multiplier and the grip force the scanner had flagged 4 times as an error, Salith added a handwritten note. She had never added a handwritten note to a species capability report before. Her stylus moved slowly, and she did not raise her voice, even to herself. She lifted it because he fell. She does not know, this is impossible. She would do it again. The arena floor was empty now. The 340-kilogram barrier plate lay where Marin had thrown it. 4 meters from its original position, upside down, sand cratered beneath it. Up on the gallery level, Eli's toy wrench sat where it had tumbled from his hand. Small, plastic, weightless, the kind of thing a child carries because it makes him feel like he can fix something. Below it, on the arena sand, his mother's footprints led from the starting mark to the crater's edge. They were deeper than they should have been for someone who weighs 68 kilograms. So what would you lift if the person you loved most was on the other side of it? Think about that, and if these stories move something in you, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, there's another record in the archive that was never supposed to exist.